It's a 2-point Sacramento lead. We're down to 7 seconds. Bryant putting a move on Christie. Rebound O'Neal. Coming up short. Ori for the win.
Well, it's October 18th, and the Lakers just opened their new season against the Portland Trailblazers with a loss. Wasn't the beginning we were hoping for to this season, but there were some good things going on, and there were some terrible things also. First, we're going to go over the numbers, and then we'll go ahead and dive into how the game went on quarter by quarter. So the numbers for the Lakers look like this. LeBron had 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, but he also led the team with 6 turnovers. Brandon Ingram only had 16 points, and for someone that's supposed to be LeBron's Scottie Pippen, he's going to have to do better than that as the season goes on, because 16 points was what he averaged last year, and this year it's not going to cut it. New members of the Lakers, JaVale McGee led the team with 3 blocks. He was actually contributing and a force out there when he was out there, especially on defense. Those 3 blocks were very timely, and he did change a lot of shots, even if he didn't block some, or if they didn't show up in the stat sheet. He had a lot of changed shots. He was a presence in the middle when he was in the game. Rondo led the team with 11 assists and had 13 points to go along for a double-double. Lonzo only played 19 minutes, which seems a little too scarce for me. He's got to play more than that if he's going to develop as a player when Rondo leaves, because Rondo's only on a 1-year contract, so unless they plan to sign a bunch of 1-year contracts as we keep going forward, Lonzo's got to get in there and play more than 19 minutes, even though Rondo was playing well today. To compare, Lonzo played 19 minutes and Lance Stevenson played 16 minutes, which to me was about 15 minutes too long for Lance Stevenson, because not only did he play too much, but he played, to me, at times that weren't conducive to the team doing well. He was in there way longer than he should have been at very important times in the game where he shouldn't have been in that long. On the opposite side of the court, we got the Portland Trailblazers, who were led by Dame Lillard and 28 points from him. CJ McCollum added 21, and the surprise of the day was off the bench Nick Stauskas with 24 points on 5 of 8 3-point shooting. So, the game went as expected first. There was a lot of energy. LeBron's debut. People expected a lot of energy. There was a lot of Lakers fans in Portland, so shout out to Laker Nation for showing up and representing. The Portland Trailblazers were also coming in on an emotional high or an emotional low, depending on how you want to look at it, seeing as their owner, Paul Allen, just died a couple days ago. So they were playing this game with heavy hearts, and at the end they showed it more, that they had more heart than we did. So how did the game break down? Let's see. First quarter, noticed a couple things, good and bad. Let's see. First of all, the game started off with Nurkic scoring on LeBron in the paint. Now, I know a lot of people like to say that LeBron can guard 1 through 5, but to me, it's always been a myth. I've never seen it. And again, when he had to stop a big man in the paint, he couldn't do it. So I know it's nitpicking, but I just get annoyed because I keep hearing this myth about him being, a great defender because he can guard 1 through 5, although he's never really done it. I also noticed very early in the game, and it kind of carried on as the game went, LeBron did a lot of standing around at half court on offense. And going back to his Cleveland and Miami days, I don't ever remember seeing that. I remember seeing him last year, especially resting on defense, but not on the offensive side. So if that's going to happen as the season goes on, that's going to be a major problem for everybody, because when he does that, it basically leaves the offense playing 4 versus 5. So whoever's guarding him just sagged off him, and whenever Ingram, Rondo, or anybody tried to penetrate whoever was in with him, his guy would just fall off and double team that guy, forcing him to pass. And meanwhile, LeBron standing by half court wasn't a threat to catch and shoot at the 3-point line or do anything with it. So I hope we don't see that continue. Keep a lookout for it. I pointed it out on Facebook and Twitter as the game went on and got a lot of negative feedback because I pointed it out and, get called a hater, this, that, and the other. But pay attention. next time you guys see him, and if you guys notice, just keep an eye on him. One perk of having LeBron James, though, is that superstars like him come with, let me say it like this. A superstar like him means that the refs are going to swallow their whistles at times. And thank God they did, because LeBron on the very first play fouled Dame Lillard on the drive to the basket, and they didn't call it. And then I want to say maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, LeBron fouled one of the Portland players going for a rebound, hacked him across the head, and that was a no call. Then on the other end, LeBron fell on his feet, tripped over his own foot, and fell on the ground, yet they called the foul on Aminu because, he's LeBron. He gets those kind of calls. If it's a 50-50 call, it's going to go in LeBron's favor, especially if it's the beginning of the game, first game of the season, and Lakers highlighting tonight's TNT lineup. So let's see what we got going on then first. I don't care for the starting lineup. I don't think KCP should be in it. I think Hart should play longer, should play more minutes, should start, and should play far more minutes than KCP. So KCP took a lot of bad shots today, forced a lot of shots in the paint and around the three. Just pretty terrible. Let's see. I did notice LeBron was playing a little bit at the 4. I do like that on the offensive end. If he gets engaged, I've been saying it all off season that if LeBron's going to run the same box and one offense he ran in Cleveland and in his last 3 years in Miami, this team's not going to go anywhere. LeBron has to be engaged on offense. He can't be standing around half court, and he's got to be on the block in the post. He has to primarily play out of the post this season for this team to work. Him on the block versus any 4 puts us at a huge advantage, but for whatever reason, he rarely went past the free throw line on the offensive end. He stayed from half court to the top of the key and just kind of hovered around that area unless he drove in and had the ball. But first half, he had a lot of energy. Second one, he came out kind of flat to me. Honestly, he disappeared in the fourth quarter in my eyes. He had 18 points in the first half and only 8 the whole second half. And that, to me, if you're LeBron James and you're in this GOAT conversation with Jordan, that's just unacceptable. I can't think of any time where I saw Jordan and I had to think, hey, where'd he go? How come he disappeared? How come he's not engaged? I don't remember having to say that about Jordan. There was a great sequence in the first quarter with Dame and LeBron going back and forth with dunks. First, LeBron started off with a dunk down the middle. Dame came right back at him, blew past Rondo and dunked it on our team. And right back on the other end, JaVale set a pick that freed LeBron up, and he took it down the middle and crushed another hammer dunk that he usually does. The defense was pretty much a no-show for both teams in the first quarter. It was kind of a marathon to see who can score more points. Zoe did check in around 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, which to me, again, it's too late. Zoe's got to get in there with more time. He should be starting. Now, I get if they start Rondo at the beginning of the season, because Rondo is an elite point guard. I don't care what anybody says. When people talk about this offseason and they say that we didn't sign an elite point guard, we did in Rondo. I've said it before on previous podcasts, and I'll continue to say it. He is elite. But eventually, if you're going to move on forward with Zoe, he's going to have to play. He's going to have to get majority minutes and start off the game. This time, I'm not going to disagree too much with Zoe sitting, because when he did come in, he wasn't very assertive. And I didn't care when he did that at the end of the season last year versus the Warriors in the last game. And I don't care for him doing it now. If he comes in and he's going to get limited playing time, he's got to make the most of it, and he's got to attack. All right, second quarter started off with the youngsters getting some playing time. They looked a little shaky. A lot of turnovers, sloppy play, a lot of missed shots. This team, I don't know if they're in awe of LeBron or if they're kind of crumbling under the pressure, because this game had a playoff feel to it. And I know for a lot of these youngsters, they've never experienced anything like that. So they got to start getting used to it and got to show up, because it's only going to get worse as time goes on. And God willing, we make it to the playoffs, that pressure is going to triple. LeBron got away with a a no call on the charge again. It's good to have somebody like LeBron on your team because the refs are going to give you a lot of favorable calls or no calls. One defensive sequence, LeBron got smoked by Evan Turner, then locked up by him on the other end. Lucky for LeBron, though, he got bailed out as they called a foul on Evan Turner. On the defensive end, I noticed there's more of LeBron playing free safety, just like he did last year in Cleveland. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. I was hoping he was going to be more engaged on the defensive end this year because last year he did have to carry a heavy load for the Cavs. So I understood him resting on defense. You know, he's not the first player to do it. Not going to be the last. But with the youth we have, the length we got, the athleticism we have, he should put more effort on the defensive end because he doesn't have to carry as much on either end. Stevenson started the second quarter and for whatever reason was still in the game with about 7 minutes left. He had played a full 5 minutes. I'm not sure why he got so much playing time. I honestly only want him to come in the last 2 minutes of maybe a quarter to give somebody a rest, but he should not be playing 16 minutes he played, nor should he be playing in the lengths that he did, a good 5, 6, 7 minute spurts like he did. LeBron did finally get called for some fouls. He had a couple push-off fouls, which, you know, if you ever play basketball and you've been coached, you'll get yelled at by your coach for that because those type of push-off fouls, they're just lazy. If you don't fight for position and then you just push off, you can get called all the time. Rondo was coming through in the second quarter. He was very aggressive from the start, aggressive throughout the whole game. Hart was playing hard, but he didn't get a lot of calls going his way. That would change as the game went on, but to start off the game, the refs weren't looking to do Hart any kind of favor. The half ended here, and Rondo so far was the best player of the game. LeBron did have 18 at the half, but Rondo was by far the best player because he was the most consistent. He was doing it on both ends, and he was orchestrating the offense like he should have been. Let's see. Third quarter began with the starters, just like the beginning of the game. I'll say it once. I'll say it again. I'm going to say it all season until he's off the team. KCP is trash. I don't understand why he's on the team. I don't understand why he's starting. He had a horrible forced shot. The ball kind of sticks with him. I'm not sure what he's thinking. I don't know if he thinks he has some kind of green light because he's with LeBron's agency. You know, that flew last year. We overpaid him, but not this year, man. He's got to contribute. He's got to play better or he's going to get benched like he did later in the game. B.I. had a nice finish. He had a little string there where he was waking up a little bit. LeBron also had a couple up and down defensive plays. He had poor help defense on a Aminu dunk, but then he had great help defense on a Dame Lillard miss. Unfortunately, after that Dame miss, we turned the ball over and LeBron had poor closeout defense on a three-pointer by Dame in the corner over there. A little bit later, Dame got a BS foul on Kyle by jumping into him. I don't get that rule. I thought they were stressing that the player wasn't going to get the foul call if he jumps into the defender, but you know, maybe Dame's on that star level where he gets those favorable calls even though they're not supposed to go in his favor. I mean, he pump faked, Kuz jumped straight up, and Dame jumped into him and got the call. Lonzo entered the game with only 5:28 left in the third. Again, a little late for my liking to come into the game. He's got to get in there earlier and more often. Hart had a nice little run. He had 2 steals in a row. The first one led to a nice LeBron James assist to Brandon Ingram in the paint. With 3:20 left in the game, Rondo and Ball were in at the same time. That was a interesting group they got there. First time I got to see them play together. It didn't go terrible. I mean, 2 ball handlers on there. The ball was moving. It actually looked like they were running sets. Ball had some great hustle while he was in there on defense and on offense. He does play hard. He may not be aggressive, but that doesn't mean he doesn't play hard. Hart finally hit a 3, the first of the game for us. And keep in mind, this is with about 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and we finally hit our first 3. I think we were 0 for 12 at that time. Zoe got stuck in the posts trying to guard Evan Turner. He had good defense, but he still got called for a foul. Stevenson is going to do what Lance Stevenson's going to do and went for a crazy layup where he got blocked by 2 people, actually, and got his stuff sent into the stands by, what's dude's name? Collins, the center on Portland. The lineup with Lance, Zoe, Hart, Kuzma, and Rondo, it's too small to put up with, to put against a team like Portland that's got a center like Zach Collins that's a legit 7-footer. They're going to have to find some way. They got to get Zubac in there or something, because there's no way that lineup's going to last against a team that has not even a legitimate center, but actually just a 7-footer, someone with size. Because I think the tallest guy in that lineup was about 6'9". The Lakers were missing a lot of shots. I think it's because when you play with LeBron, you're going to get a lot of open shots. The problem with that, you're going to get a lot of open spot-up shots. You're not going to get to step into your shot. You're not going to get to dribble to create a rhythm. You're just going to catch the ball, and you're going to be expected to fire, and you're going to be expected to hit it. Basketball is a rhythm game. If you've ever played, you know, especially at the free throw line, you'll see it. Players like to do a little something, some kind of routine to get it going, to get some kind of rhythm. For shooters, they have a higher rate of success if they step into a shot instead of just catching flat-footed and then expected to go up and make the shot. That was the difference, obviously, if you watch the game. Lakers were getting a lot of spot-up shots, while Portland were getting a lot of shots that they were able to step into. Even if they didn't dribble, they were able to step into it as they caught it and go up with the rhythm. Hart ended the third quarter with a buzzer beater 3. The fourth quarter started with LeBron, Zoe, Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, and Lance to start. Again, I don't know why Lance was in there. I don't know why he started in the fourth. You could have had Beasley in there. He barely got any playing time. You could have had anybody in there but Lance. I don't know why he's getting any playing time, especially to start fourth quarter of a close game. LeBron James started off the quarter with a nice drive on Zach Collins, who's much taller than he is, but LeBron's wide shoulders made it very easy for him to get the layup off on Collins. 8:31 left in the fourth, and for whatever reason, Lance was still in the game. Then a nice sequence went off where Ball hit a 3, Dame Lillard answered with 1, Ball got blocked on a drive the following one, and then Nick Stauskas killed us with a 3. It was a very exciting little sequence there. A lot of action going on in the fourth. It was actually a very good fourth quarter in this game. Right after that, the starters all returned with about 7 minutes left. Collins beat his defender for a backdoor. McGee followed up with a dunk. CJ then hit a jumper from the free throw line, and Rondo turned the ball over on the other end. By the way, the announcer, one of the announcers for the game was Chris Webber, and the consensus on Facebook, the consensus on Twitter, the consensus with anybody that's got 2 ears is he's just fucking terrible to listen to. I mean, he is horrible to listen to during the game. He a lot of times just talks nonsense. There was a play where JaVale McGee was fighting for a rebound and fell down. And on the replay, for whatever reason, I don't know why he chose to do this, but he attributed that play to LeBron James. And even when he's going over the replay, he says, LeBron James isn't even in the picture, and his energy is contagious. Well, like, it's just nonsense. Like, dude, I get it. Okay, you like LeBron. Everybody loves LeBron. Let's calm down with attributing everything to him, like that positive that happened on the court. Give JaVale McGee his due for his hustle, man. KCP, right after that play, threw up a garbage shot and was quickly benched. Thank God for Luke. By Luke, I mean. That was actually one thing I was interested to see as the season went on, is how Luke is going to handle these players, the veterans versus the young guys versus the guys LeBron likes versus the guys LeBron doesn't care for or doesn't give 2 thoughts about. Again, KCP is with Clutch Sports, which is LeBron James's agency, and last year he got some leeway. We overpaid him $18 million because he was with LeBron, and that gave us insight into trying to sign LeBron. But this year, now that we got LeBron, you can see the leash is a lot shorter with KCP, and he threw up a bad shot, and 10 seconds later he was riding pine on the bench. Dame got fouled on a 3-pointer, and they called it on the floor. It's the second 4-point play that was robbed from him during the game. Right after that, B.I. was also benched with about 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the game. He just wasn't having a good game. He was getting a lot of open shots, but he couldn't hit anything. So once he missed a 3, Luke sat him on the bench. Dame showed why he's Dame time. And also showed why LeBron might like him, as rumors suggest that LeBron's fond of his game and wants the Lakers to trade for him. Dame came up clutch in the fourth, man. He is a closer, and he is the perfect complement to LeBron. He's the Kyrie that LeBron needs. LeBron can go 3 quarters and just give the ball to Dame in the fourth and let him take over if he ever gets on the Lakers. The Lakers didn't give up, though. They had a lot of heart. The young guys, LeBron with the young guys, put up a fight. Kuzma hit a 3 with about a minute 57 seconds left. Made it a 7-point game. Then LeBron followed that up with great defense on Dame. Got a 24-second clock violation because Dame wasn't aware of how much time was left on the clock. Rondo was in the game at this time, and it showed a problem that a lot of teams are going to exploit against us if Rondo's in the end of the game. There was a sequence where he drove to the basket, and his defender just sagged off him. No matter how close he drew to the basket, his defender sagged off because he wasn't going to shoot it. Or he was daring him to shoot it, and Rondo didn't shoot it. Tried to pass it, and it didn't work out. At the end of the games, he's going to be a liability if there aren't shooters or anybody that's hot around him. KCP got back in the game, hit a 3, which made it a 5-point game, but time was running out. And then LeBron ended the game, a behind-the-back pass that went straight out of bounds. I don't know who he was throwing it to. He was under the basket, and it was the second behind-the-back pass that he had that just went out of bounds. The first one was around half court in the middle of the game. This one was at the end, and that pretty much did it for us now. So the Lakers take a loss in their first game of the LeBron James era. Next game is the home opener on Saturday versus the Rockets. Be sure to tune in. Look out for the next podcast. I'll try to have a rapid reaction after that game. You guys have a great night. Thank you for listening. Time is our most precious resource, and I appreciate you guys spending some of your time to listen to this podcast. Have a great night.